I want everybody to take a look at these numbers on the vaccine. This was tweeted by The Intercept. Pfizer has made an estimated $975 million from the vaccine this year and is expected to earn another $19 billion in 2021. $19 billion with a B. Pfizer's profit margin on the vaccine is estimated at between 60% and 80%. Moderna is projected to make more than $10 billion from its vaccine next year. You know, I should also add in this conversation, although it's not directly related, the richest people in the country gained $1.8 trillion in wealth since the start of the pandemic. $1.8 trillion. This is all at the same time that 60% of small businesses that shut as a result of COVID are closed permanently. You have a record 40% of Americans who are food insecure. You know, about 30% of the American people couldn't pay rent, and I'm going back 3 or 4 months now. They couldn't pay rent 3 or 4 months ago. I wonder how it is now, you know, since our attempts to help them have been few and far between. Yeah, this is ugly. This is very, very ugly. And this gets into a conversation that we've had a few times on this show. And if you ever wanted to ask me, on what issue have you moved further left? On what issue have you become more radicalized? The answer is very simple. Everything related to health. I basically think everything related to health should be nationalized. Now, again, that's not to say that every industry should be nationalized, period. I actually don't agree with that. And you guys know that ultimately I view myself as an empiricist. So when I look around the world, I see the countries that function the best. And it's the social democracies. It's the Scandinavian-style social democracies, where it's a healthy mix of a welfare state and heavily regulated capitalism. Okay, listen, I'm a simple man. If I see something that functions, I see it functions, and I say, that's good, I want to try that, right? Doesn't mean we can't try other ideas to go beyond that, but that is the baseline. That's the baseline. So it's not saying that every industry should be nationalized. There are plenty where I think the evidence is on the opposite end, that it's better in the private market. You know, consumer goods, video games, cars, things of that nature. Yeah, private market. Makes sense to me. But when it comes to health, I basically think everything involving health should be nationalized. Because the profit motive is a terrible incentive when it comes to health. And you see this most clearly when it comes to health insurance, by the way. Because what is a health insurance but an unnecessary, rapacious, for-profit middleman that gets in between you and your doctor and takes their cut? It's a scam, right? I mean, they act like a mafia. I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. I'm going to sell you protection. How about you pay me every month, and then maybe if something happens, maybe not, I help you out, and then I pay your doctor. How about that? How do you like that? But you have to pay me every month. And then what happens? When you need to go to the doctor, they go, that's wonderful and everything, but I think we have a little thing called a copay and a deductible, and so maybe you're going to have to pay the first $5,000, and then I'll pitch in a little bit. So you're telling me I've been paying you hundreds of dollars every month. And now when something happens, you say, all right, you pay the first $5,000 and then I'll help out. Then why have I been paying you every month? Why have I been paying you? Seems like you're just getting in the middle and taking your cut, and you're unnecessary. By the way, Medicare for All increases freedom because you don't have in-network doctors and out-of-network doctors anymore with Medicare for All. Your plan limits which doctor you can go to. Medicare for All says go to whatever doctor you want. But that's the point. The point is the incentive structure is wrong. The more health insurance companies make money, the more they deny care. That's how they make their money. I want to deny care as much as possible and pad the bottom line as much as possible because I have fiduciary responsibility to my shareholders to do that. So when it comes to health, I think the entire thing should be nationalized. I think Big Pharma should be nationalized. And before you say, oh my God, what about the research and development, which is absolutely necessary? I agree. Everybody agrees research and development is necessary. But a lot of the research and development when it comes to the medicine that we take is done at universities funded by tax dollars. So you're having the research and the development done. You don't need the profit motive there to do the research and development. That's just not true. So if we have the research and development anyway, regardless without the profit motive, and the profit motive specifically when it comes to health is a perverse disincentive, then yeah, why would we have it on the private market? Nationalize the health industry. Nationalize Big Pharma. Nationalize the for-profit health insurance companies. That's what we need to do. So I'm sorry, man. I think the evidence is overwhelming on this front. And I cannot relate to you if you hear these numbers that I just laid out for you. Again, I'll repeat them for you, assuming I could find the freaking thing. Here we go. Pfizer made $975 million from the vaccine this year. Going to make $19 billion in 2021. Their profit margin is 60 to 80%, and Moderna is going to make $10 billion. If you hear those numbers and you're cool with it, I simply can't relate to you. I can't relate to you. It's like when Jonas Salk made the polio vaccine. He said, he was asked why he didn't patent it. He's like, would you put a patent on the sun? I should profit off of this thing, which is curing a terrible illness? Are you insane? That was his reaction. That's my reaction looking at this. I'm not saying the people who did the work shouldn't get paid. If everybody should get paid, of course. You're not volunteering your time and then go create the vaccine and then go live in a wooden barrel in a shack. No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is there's a big difference between not living in a wooden barrel in a shack and having a 60 to 80% profit margin and making $19 billion off of a deadly pandemic, as, by the way, your vaccine is not getting all the places it needs to get ASAP. But you could blame more the government for that than the health insurance or than the big pharma companies, excuse me, because the government's distribution has been pathetic. But man, this is upsetting. It's like you always see insane profiting off of things where there shouldn't be profit, like the Iraq War with all the no-bid contracts and the defense contractors who were charging I forget the numbers, so don't quote me on this, but they were charging something like $50 or $100 for 6 cans of Coke, and they were charging the taxpayers. This is what goes on, this profiteering, this gross, unnecessary, rapacious profiteering, price gouging. Not okay, man. Not okay. I still, to my core, I really do believe that I'm a pretty moderate guy. I think I'm very internationally centrist in my ideology. But having said that, when it comes to everything related to health, nationalize, baby. That's all I have to say.